What's up guys? My name is Sam, and I just got back from my trip to France, and I wanted to share with you my favorite places. So here are my top 10 best places in France. 10. Once you've been to France, it's easy to see why it's the most visited country in the world. There's endless history here, charming cities, from the towering Alps to the brash French Riviera. France is a country waiting to be explored. Let's get started. Étretat. It is a 3-hour drive from Paris. 3 hours from Paris. It was the first place I went to when I arrived in France, and the main reason I wanted to go there was to see the stunning sea. When we arrived in Étretat, we walked through a beautiful coastal town and came to a beach where there was beautiful sand with pebbles, and you could get a view of the cliffs, and they were freaking huge, much bigger than me. After we decided to take a walk we took a walk around the top of the cliffs. On the beautiful boardwalk, we made our way to the thing I liked most about the cliff tops of the sea arches. There are 3 of them. I also like the pointed sea. After a little bit of fog started to roll in and give the area such a different feel. And you just really fun to be on top of these cliffs. If I recommend staying until sunset. The sun illuminates the cliffs beautifully, illuminating them with an orange glow. After that, we're going to visit Corsica. The island of Corsica is located right above the island of Sardinia. Corsica is on a huge island full of diverse landscapes, with rocky mountains and some of the best coastline in France. One of my favorite places on the island is Bonifacio, a medieval town, built on these limestone cliffs. It's nicknamed the Mediterranean Sentinel. It's located on the southernmost point of the island, near where there are several other incredible white cliffs with crystal clear waters. Another one of my favorite places in Corsica are the cliffs. The Piana are pointed red cliffs that plunge into the sea. They've got such a distinctive color, and there's a windy road runs right through them. There are also some incredible beaches, such as the Tumeda. After that, we're going to visit French Alps, Mont Blanc, and Chamonix. The French Alps is one of my favorite regions in all of France. It is home to the incredibly massive Mount Mont Blanc, which is the highest mountain in the Alps. At 807 meters tall, Mont Blanc is not the most prominent peak in comparison, but it's just hard to realize how huge this mountain is, and now also a city. Located at the foot of Mont Blanc, Chamonix is the center for some of the best skiing in Europe. I really enjoyed walking around the town. It reminded me of a French Vermont. Be sure to walk along Ogle du Midi. You can take the 20-minute cable car, which holds the world record for the highest vertical ascent on a cable car with an elevation gain of over 2,807 meters. A round-trip ticket costs about €69. Round-trip ticket to the summit now. When I was there, it was very crowded. I think there was some kind of celebration there. So just plan accordingly. You'll take the 2 elevators, and it's just wild how steep it is. Now, when you get to the top, you're going to be at an altitude of 3,843 meters. You're definitely going to be feeling a lack of oxygen in your lungs when you get off the elevator. You're going to go through a labyrinth of tunnels carved right out of the granite. There are tons walkways and platforms to explore. You'll get a great view of Mont Blanc and other mountains. One thing that seemed crazy to me was that there's a place where climbers come out to hike up Mont Blanc, or just explore the Liquid Doom Glacier. It was such an incredible experience and definitely the highlight of our stay in the French Alps. Now when you return you can do one more thing. Go on a train to Gil Blas. Mer de Glace to purchase a black multi-pass for about €90. This will allow you to take the train and the elevator to Ligoton D. The train goes up the mountain and you get some great views along the way. Get on the left side to get the best view. Now when you reach the top you will be able to see Mer de Glace Glacier. It's the 2nd largest glacier in the whole of Europe. And the sad thing is, when you look at photos from over 170 years ago, and you see how much the glacier has shrunk. Despite that, the whole area is breathtaking. You see the views of the surrounding mountains. They're so jagged, I've never seen anything like it. There is also a restaurant and hotel here. After that, we're going to visit the nearby town of Annecy. And now we're going to look at and see the foothills of the Alps, about an hour's drive from Chamonix. This alpine town is famous for its canals, which is why it's called the Venice of the Alps. Just absolutely magical. But what I love in this region is Lake Annecy. Surrounded by beautiful mountains, it is known as one of the cleanest lakes in all of Europe, which means that I can't think of a better place to vacation during the hot summer. One of the main attractions, Montagne Castle. Bernard in this neighborhood is the Château de Montagne-Saint. Bernard's first fortress was built here about 100 years ago, and today it is now one of the most impressive chateaux in the Alps, so we decided to see it. It cost about €15 to get in. I was just amazed at the size of it and how well preserved the castle was. There was a huge courtyard with perfectly laid out stones. The interior of the castle was just as impressive. It's just wild to imagine that people lived in such hundreds of years ago. I can't imagine what it was like. What it was like to live in those days after Alsace, the Alps. We're going to go to Alsace, a region now located in eastern France, landing in Germany and Switzerland. The Alsace region is known for its fabulous towns, wine country and rich history over the centuries. The region has alternated between French and German, and today it is a mixture of these cultures. The capital of Alsace is Strasbourg, which is the official seat of the European Parliament. The region's charming town is Colmar. If you want a break from the cities, you can take a trip on the Alsace wine route, a 170-kilometer route, that takes you through some of France's greatest wine countries and picturesque towns. One of my favorite is the quaint village of Riccoveri. It's thought to be the village that inspired the town from the movie Beauty and the Beast, even if you don't drink wine. Like me, it's impossible not to fall in love with this region of France. After Paris, we're off to the capital of France, Paris. Outrights all for my top 10 France. I've barely scratched the surface of where your favorite place is in the comments. I made a video about France that you might like. Hi guys, in this video, I show you the top 10 things to see in London and a couple more suggestions at the end of the video. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. The suggestions are based on our exciting trips to London. Here are our top 10 picks. Tower Bridge. Tower Bridge crosses the River Thames and was built in the late 19th century. You can take a boat ride that goes under Tower Bridge for the full experience. Don't miss two very important attractions nearby: the historic Tower of London Castle from the 11th century and the remaining part of the Roman Wall, which was probably built in the 3rd century. Camden Town. This former industrial and economic base has been replaced by service industries such as retail, tourism and entertainment. The area is now home to street markets and music venues that are strongly associated with alternative culture. Don't forget to visit the amazing dog store Camden Market and Cyber with futuristic fashions, club wear, enthusiastic clothing and live dancers in the store. Museums. London is full of amazing museums and most of them are free. You can start with the British Museum, which is dedicated to human history, art and culture. Don't miss the Natural History Museum, which features a wide range of specimens from different segments of natural history. Just around the corner is the Science Museum, a great place to see, touch and experience science firsthand. You can check in the description box where we've added a link to all the free museums in London. Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster. This British cultural icon was completed in 1859 and it lies at the northern end of the Palace of Westminster, which is the seat of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. The official name of the tower that houses Big Ben was originally the Clock Tower, but it was renamed Elizabeth Tower in 2012. Unfortunately, Big Ben is being renovated and won't be completed for another couple of years. The impressive Gothic Westminster Abbey Church is also a few steps away. London Eye. The London Eye is a giant Ferris wheel on the south bank of the River Thames with views of Big Ben and Westminster. South bank of the River Thames with views of Big Ben and Westminster. The structure is 135 meters, 443 feet high, and the wheel has a diameter of 120 meters, 394 feet. Little Venice. Little Venice is a neighborhood centered around decorative, floating houses and a partially tree-lined, three-way canal crossing. Little Venice is one of London's best residential neighborhoods, contains restaurants, stores, theaters and pubs. Definitely a refreshing sight and something you don't expect to see in London. Hyde Park. Hyde Park is the main park in London. It offers world-class events and concerts, as well as many quiet places to relax. In 2004, the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fountains were unveiled. Piccadilly Circus. Piccadilly Circus is a transportation interchange and public space of London's West End in the city of Westminster. It was built in 1819 to connect Regent Street to Piccadilly. It was named after a house owned by a tailor known for selling Piccadilly or Piccadilly, a term used for various types of collars. The circus is especially known for its video displays and neon signs mounted on the corner of the building. We suggest visiting it at night as well. Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace is the most iconic royal building in the country. It is the London residence of Her Majesty the Queen, and it is one of the few working royal palaces left in the world. Don't miss the iconic changing of the guard ceremony, also known as the mounting of the guard, performed soldiers on active duty from the foot guards who have guarded the sovereign and royal palaces since 1660. Check the box in the description for a link to an updated timetable for the mounting of the guards. Harrods. Harrods is a luxury department store currently owned by the state of Qatar. The store occupies a 20,000 square meters, 5 acres site and has 330 departments, covering 90,000 square meters, 1 million square feet of retail space. And here's the bonus we promised: Canary Wharf. If you have an extra few hours, visit Canary Wharf on the Isle of Dogs, Manhattan, London. It's a commercial district in East London that's home to many of Europe's tallest buildings, including the second tallest in the UK, One Canada Square. Of course, there are plenty of other things to see about the sites you want to visit and how many days you'll spend in this amazing city. We've also created a Google map with all the suggestions. The link is in the description below. If you like this video, like it and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Alaska is as gorgeous as it is vast. Most of the state's population centers, including commercially oriented Anchorage and off the beaten path, Juneau, are overshadowed by the vast wilderness. The Alaskan wilderness, also known as the last frontier, continues to fascinate visitors. Despite the fact that these towns are home to a variety of attractions and things to do, in addition to being home to some of the largest state and national parks, in Alaska is also home to some of the largest wildlife regions on the continent. There are many ways to explore these wildlife riches, including hiking, canoeing, fishing and watching whales, bears, bear watching, jungle exploration and boat rides on the Inside Passage. Among the most common excursions, Alaska's villages and towns have a special cultural charm, and there are many museums and other tourists in these base camps for adventurous travelers. In addition, they provide insight of the societies that have inhabited Alaska for thousands of years. Alaska Native Heritage Center locations: Alaska Native Heritage Center in Anchorage. Wherever your travels take you. The size of Alaska is mind-boggling. Our video on Alaska's top attractions will help you find the best places to go in this pristine state. 1. Denali National Park, the highest peak in North America. North America's highest peak, Denali, is located in the northern part of the Alaska Range, and it's part of the third largest national park, with an elevation of 320 feet. The peak's generic name is Denali, but Mount McKinley is what modern explorers have called it, after a naming dispute that lasted for more than a century. North America's highest peak officially adopted the name Denali in 2015. The 6 million acres of the national park are simply a breathtaking wide river valleys, tundra-high alpine ridges and mountains covered with glaciers are just a few examples of the park's spectacular landscapes. Conveniently located along the Alaska Railroad and is about halfway between Anchorage and Fairbanks. Only buses that have received a permit. The park is allowed to pass through the Savage River, and there is only one road that enters the park. Denali can be seen from the park road near the park entrance. There are several small clearly marked trails less than 2 miles long. However, in season, explorers often enter untouched wildlife: grizzly bears, wolves, reindeer, moose and other animals. Birds can be found in Denali. More than 167 different species sled dog kennels have been spotted, where dozens of animated huskies are kept and hold sled dog shows. Popular among the park's many attractions, amusements to arms of the Tracy Arm, located south of Juneau. The Tracy Arm, which bordered by glaciers, Cascade Falls, descend the slopes of Jug Rock as the glaciers, forming tiny icebergs. Cruise ships and boat tour often stopped here. The Ford's Terror Wilderness. Armed with Tracy, the Tongass National Forest is home to fjord with the Sawyer Twin Glaciers are located at the headwaters of the fjord. Whether a brown bear or moose on land or the whales and seals that inhabit these seas, wildlife can often be encountered during cruises. Only a limited portion of Alaska's glaciers can only be seen in the Tracy Arm. Glacier Bay National Park, located northwest of Juneau, and Prince William Sound, located near Anchorage, are two more hot tourist destinations. Numerous tour operators in Juneau, such as Adventure Bound Alaska, offer inexpensive day trips with unlimited opportunities to view natural beauty. 3. Alaska Highway. The Alaska Highway, also called the Alaska Canadian or Yukon Highway, runs from Dawson Creek in British Columbia, Canada, through the Yukon Territory and on to Delta Junction in the surrounding area. It was built in a record 8 months in 1942 during World War I. For the war effort, the road became the most important means to access the Yukon Territory in southern Alaska. After the end conflict, it is popular with people who vacationing in recreational vehicles. The road ends in Delta Junction after passing through Whitehorse, Canada, before entering Alaska. At the international border, there are hotels, stores, and gas stations every 30 to 50 miles of the Yukon Highway. In general, generally easy to navigate, but travelers should pack accordingly, as a significant much of the route passes through isolated areas. 4. Dalton Highway. The Dolphin Highway travels more than 400 miles in far northern Alaska before arriving at the V outpost in Provo Bay was built next to a tandem with the Trans-Alaska Pipeline and is accessible from Fairbanks and Anchorage. With the exception of the oil field, personnel on the road is very difficult to access, difficult and unpaved. But with the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge and Arctic National Park Gate and Reserve located on the side of the road, well-prepared hikers have a reason. Traveling the lonely Dalton Highway, the Dalton Highway enters the Arctic Circle at its northernmost point when on the summer solstice. The solstice is 24 hours of brightness, and winter has 20 for the Arctic Circle is not only accessible by private, automobile, frequent bus and airplane tour depart from Fairbanks and Anchorage. The Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights, which shines for several nights from September through mid-April, is a well-known reason to travel to these northern. Participating in an Aurora tour will help tourists warm up during this chilly season. 5. Inside Passage in Southeast Alaska is home to a network of protected straits and channels known as the Inside Passage. The most common method of travel is by private yacht or large vessel through the coast, stopping on highways in Skagway or Haida. An additional choice is the Thomas National Forest. Thomas National Forest, which spans 17 million acres along the coastal passageway. Islands, mountains, glaciers, ice fields, shores and waterfalls. Prince of Wales Island is one of the largest island in the United States, is part of the forest. Let's clear it. Haida and Tsimshian peoples also live in the area. Major population centers along the road include Skagway, which is home to the National Historical Park, which is dedicated to the Klondike Gold Rush. Sitka, which was once the capital of Russian America, and Ketchikan, in which state totems can be seen in a Totem Bight State Historic Park and the Totemic Heritage Center. 6. The Tongass National Forest is full of colorful and rich treasures. Batangas is home to the world's largest temperate rainforest in the world. It stretches 500 miles from Alaska's Inside Passage and is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, coastal mountains and stunning diversity of islands, mountains, forests, glaciers, salmon streams, coastlines and bays. The largest national forest in the Tongass was named in honor of the Tongass clan of the Tongass Slim tribe. Includes more than 80% of the land area of southeast Alaska, including 11,000 miles of coastline, home to 70,032 municipalities, including Juneau, the state capital of Alaska. 19 wildlife refuges are located within the area. Tongass, including Admiralty Island National Monument and Misty Fjords National Monument, which together cover 545 square miles. There are several events that entertain and inform both locals and tourists on miles on well-maintained trails. Visitors can wander through the dense forests of the alpine meadows or along boardwalks, replicate wetlands known as Muskeg. 7. Mendenhall Glacier. Alaska is home to the famous Mendenhall Glacier, which attracts tourists from all over the world. From the Juneau Icefield to Mendenhall Glacier stretches for 12 miles. The glacier is 12 miles long and has ice depths ranging from 300 to 1,800 feet. The ice depth ranges from 300 to 1,800 feet. In the early 1800s, the glacier shrank by 2 miles at the rate its ice is crystallizing, giving it a dazzling blue hue, which affects the refraction and reflected energy of water. The crystalline structure of the ice at Mendenhall Glacier, which affects the way water reflects and refracts light, gives the glacier its the bright blue color of kayaks and helicopters from the cliff top overlooking Mendenhall Glaciers to most popular. 2 of the most popular activities on the Mendenhall Glacier are ice climbing and ice caves. Exploring Mendenhall Glacier offers several excellent hiking trails, as well as kayaking, helicopter tour. Ice climbing and hiking are just a few of the many activities available to visitors on the famous Mendenhall Glacier in Alaska. 8. Brooks Falls. Cape Meyer National Park is one of the most stunning places in Alaska. In Alaska, one of the most stunning places to visit is Katmai National Park. Visitors can hike, fish, and backpack through Cape May National Park. The park is home to one of the world's largest populations of brown bears. You can also go bear watching here. Brown bears are closely associated with Cape May and Brooks Falls National Parks. This is due to the fact that spawning salmon runs in the Brooks River starting in June and peaks in July, attracting huge numbers of the park's largest mammals. The park's largest mammals around the falls now provide some of the best opportunities in the country for animal watching. The Alaska Peninsula, which stretches from the southwest corner of the peninsula, is home to Brooks Falls and Cape May National Park, are the only two practical ways to get to the park by boat or by airplane. Falls travelers often book an all-inclusive trip, but it's not required. Airline companies also provide direct shovel-to-shovel service to the Park 9. The Aleutian Islands are one of the most stunning and unspoiled yet little visited archipelago that stretches east of the Alaska Peninsula. The difficulty of reaching them is the common denominator between the two. Moreover, half of the 800 of the archipelago's 800 residents on Alaska, the largest of the 10 inhabited islands in the archipelago. Only 1,000 of the Aleutian Islands, a haven for fishermen, accessible only to tourists, only by plane or by ferry, which runs twice a month during the summer. Even more difficult to reach are the easternmost islands, which are located near the Russian peninsula of Kamchatka, than it is to reach the American coast. This vast archipelago, which is home to for a wide variety of marine life. The archipelago is home to more than 60 active volcanoes. Volcanoes. Alaska Marine National Wildlife Refuge is a national wildlife refuge. The Alaska Marine National Wildlife Refuge is a national wildlife refuge where marine species can exist in the world. More than 500 islands and reefs, most of which are in the Aleutian Islands. Tens of millions of seabirds of various species nest on these shores. Tens of millions of seabirds of different species nest on these coasts, which makes it one of the best places in the world. It's one of the world's best birdwatching destinations, and those who go to the Aleutian Islands will be particularly frightened by the birds. 10. Anchorage is the largest city in Alaska. Anchorage, which has a population of just under 300 people. Due to its size and accessibility, the city is often used as a starting point for travelers traveling throughout Alaska. Anchorage International Airport location. It is also home to the Anchorage International Airport, as well as a significant number of hotel rooms and guest amenities. Thanks to the experiences that can be found in Anchorage, is also a fantastic starting point.